If you're ever walking down the street and you run into somebody who says that he's the highwayman and he starts to wobble around like this, run in the opposite direction fast because that guy's got issues. Welcome back to the TV Corner, everybody. Today we are talking about Over the Garden Wall.
A mysterious place called the Unknown.
Over the Garden Wall is an adventurous 10-episode tale about two brothers who get lost in the forest and go from one mysterious town to the next in search of a way home, all while trying to evade the infamous Beast of the Woods. It stars Elijah Wood, Colin Dean, and Melanie Linsky. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I hope you're all having a really great day so far. You've gotten some mimosas, or if you are not of mimosa age, some cider. You've watched the parade. I hope you're off. I know a lot of stores are doing closings on Thanksgiving this year, which is really good. That is headed in the right direction. And I hope, if you have nothing else to watch today, that you watch Over the Garden Wall, because man, it is perfect for this. I mean, it is just such a fall thing. You can watch it. I mean, personally, for me, I think it's best to watch it either right before October or in between Halloween and Thanksgiving. That's just the perfect time for it. I watched it for the first time last year, and it was love at first sight. Now, this is a Cartoon Network limited series. It's only 10 episodes. They're 10 minutes each, so it's basically just like watching a movie because it's like hour and 45 minutes total. And I just think it is one of the best animated series I have ever seen. It rivals Avatar. I'm not joking, but obviously they're very different because one is much longer than the other. So let's hop over the garden wall and talk about this a little bit. Firstly, the animation is one of my favorites. It kind of reminds me of Gravity Falls. I haven't really seen Gravity Falls, but I've obviously seen like images and videos of it, and just the animation style, it looks very clean, but it's a little bit different in that, at least to me, it looks like if you took like wooden puppets and animated them. Like it just has that kind of like folksy tale animation to it. I don't know if that's even a thing. Honestly, it may just be because one of the main characters has a triangle nose. That might be it. I don't know, but I love it. And it's got like that 1930s-esque kind of cartoon style, like of the animation that they had way back in like the early like Mickey Mouse age and things like that. It kind of has a little bit of that as well in terms of like just the shapes of the eyes and having like really big pupils and just the way that they move, things like that. It just makes it feel like those old cartoons again. Or even maybe like the video game Cuphead. So kind of a cool mix of old and modern. It also has a lot of imagery that reminds me of Studio Ghibli movies, funny enough. There's specifically one character that I'm like, that looks straight out of Spirited Away. I mean, obviously, Studio Ghibli movies are incredibly beautiful, so the types of things that they have in here not only are very cool looking, but very quirky, which goes along with the tone and the plot as well. But before getting into those things, I want to talk about some of the characters. Now, the two main characters are Wirt, which is a very cool name, and Greg. And they are two brothers, stepbrothers actually. But Wirt is the older brother, and he is an anxious, overthinking, existentially crisis-having young boy who plays the clarinet and writes poetry and has a big crush on a girl. Wirt is me. I am Wirt. But I love him because he is the very serious, trying to figure out what's going on, older brother, and having a younger brother. If I just relate to that role. He just, I don't know. There's something about him where it's like he's just much more relatable than Greg because he has that seriousness, he has that like what's going on aspect to him. And I don't know. Even though he can be very gloomy sometimes, he can also be very funny in terms of trying to be a little bit more casual about things in certain episodes and situations, and he is just such a dork about it, and it's awesome. Then there is the younger brother, Greg. We must protect Greg at all costs. He is the embodiment of innocence and kindness and niceness. I love Greg. And not only is he kind, but he is very smart, and he has that trait that a lot of these types of characters have where they get out of dangerous situations or find the solutions to mysterious things purely just by being them. Not that they were like trying to, but they just stumble upon it because of just things they were already doing. Plus, he has this tiny little song that is just the worst singing. It's so cute. And of course, there is Beatrice, the woman turned magical bird. Actually, she's not a magical bird. That is very clearly stated. She's just a bird. But she is awesome. She just doesn't take any shit from the two. She's like, this is the mission. We gotta get going. Let's go. As for other characters, there are some very interesting ones, and they're very quirky and sometimes spooky, with a lot of like really great voice actors, including but not limited to Christopher Lloyd, Tim Curry, Fred Stoller, and John Cleese. They had a lot of people in this one. Some of them are mysterious, some of them are kind of quirky, a lot of them are weirdly wholesome, but they just add this overall like interesting quality to this entire world that you already have no idea what it's about. Now, the plot, like I said, mostly the plot is just them going from town to town trying to figure out how to get home. But my favorite part about this is the mystery because you actually don't have any idea what is going on until almost the last episode. Obviously, we know in each episode what's happening, and they're kind of like little D&D side quests, which is really cool. Just like these random people, random locations, cool conversations, and mysteries, and action and adventure. But why are we here in the first place? Why did they get lost in the woods? Where were they before this? Is this a dream? Is this real life? Is this a fantasy? Is this take place in the modern world? What is this? It's just left so vague, and I love it. Like even down to just what they're wearing. You're like, why are they wearing this? But for most of it, you're just like, okay, I'll go along with it because I love these characters. And it is not explained until the ninth out of 10 episodes. But when you finally do find out what's going on, it does wrap up everything pretty neatly, which I love. You know me, I love that. But it does leave some things up to interpretation, which I also do respect. And of course, the other side of the plot is this beast in the woods, which they keep trying to avoid. And I mean, I'm not going to say too much about that because it actually is very cool, both in plot and just the animation and imagery of it. I think it's just like really well done. But it's very cool. It comes up to like a really emotional ending with the brothers and what they do for each other when it comes to this beast. But it is a very, very cool like plot other than what's going on with them in the woods. I will say that there is this one part close to the end when you do find out some things that are going on that is very funny. I'll be vague about it, but it has to do with another guy that Wirt is kind of concerned about when it comes to his crush. I mean, every time he brings up this guy, he becomes such a worry. Wirt. Oh my God. So aside from the plot itself, the tone of it, the feel, is something I might even like more than the plot. It is just, like I said, so perfect for fall. Like up to Thanksgiving, right before Halloween, because it blends so many things so well. It's got adventure, some action, it's wholesome for kids, but it's got things for adults as well. It's a little bit spooky, it's very emotional, it's very funny at times, and overall it's just very whimsical. I mean, they've got mansions and woods and cabins, leaves, snow, frogs, pumpkins and cats, and candy and potatoes and molasses. If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. Plus, there is an episode that is just like straight up a fever dream. Like almost the entire episode is like pretty sure the writers got high and then wrote that one. But as a kid, you definitely wouldn't tell. It's kind of like the heffalumps thing, you know? Or the elephants on parade or whatever from Dumbo. And it's like, ooh, that's fun. And then you grow up and you're like, oh, they were on something when they wrote that one. So overall, or should I say overall, this Cartoon Network series is so much fun. It's so relaxing, yet so emotional, so tightly written, but it gives the simplicity and room to just run with ideas. And like I said, it's like a lot of other kids shows, and especially like Avatar, in the way that it is for kids, but adults can definitely find things that they love about it, if not the entire thing. It's 10 episodes, 10-minute per episodes, movie length. Go watch it. I'm going to give Over the Garden Wall a 4 out of 4. Well, guys, if you have seen Over the Garden Wall, let me know what you thought of it, and if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend that you do. It's so much fun. I can't stress that enough. But I also hope that you have a very blessed Thanksgiving, that you're able to spend time with family, friends, any loved ones, and as always, keep your hopes high, your stress low, and everything you're thankful for right in the middle. I'll see you guys later.
Oh, potatoes and molasses. If you want some, oh, just ask us.